glories, the Asama devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories, all glories, all glories, the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri
Uh,
Buddha. Namo
Prabhu,
Om.
I can't see the screen.
Oh, you can't see the screen? It says, oh, your sharing has been paused. I don't know why.
You didn't see the song also.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know why. Don't know why. Let me try again. And
I think you have to, if we're seeing your Zoom screen, so
yeah,
pick the right screen to share.
Yeah. Not sure why that took place. Give me. There we go.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
No, maybe you started the song, that's why I couldn't say anything to you.
Yeah, no, you could have interrupted. It's okay.
Yeah,
For that purpose, I think it's appropriate so that everybody could sing along. My apologies.
Thank you.
I can see actually now looking at the screen.
Yeah.
There's a green light around the part that says sharing. The other time it had a yellow light saying paused. I wasn't paying attention to that.
And Prabhuji, you were singing so nicely, I didn't want to disturb also.
Yeah.
So you are into it.
I didn't want to disturb you because you already started.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Anyway, it's okay. We are listening. We enjoyed.
Nam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Tirtha Swamini Te Namane Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shatatmane Shri Gaurakaruna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Iti Namane Nam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Te Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Let's read the translation. This you can see now?
We need font a little bit big. Yeah, that is.
Okay. Please go ahead, Mother Vindhyavali.
This is very big. The last words are not showing.
Yeah, okay. We'll just do the first one. I'll scroll over, as you say.
Yeah. Lord Gauranga is calling, wake up, sleep, souls. Wake up, sleep, souls. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya?
Number 2.
You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world birth and death.
Hare Krishna. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world.
Number 4. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion of which you are suffering. Take this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay. Number 5.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's feet having taken this Maha Mantra.
Yeah. This reminds me of the passage, Prananath, you were reading during the Sunday feast before we chanted japa. And you're saying that there are two, correct me here, there are two living forces in this material world, the jivas and the holy name of the Lord. Is that correct?
Sorry, Prabhu?
You were saying that you were reading a passage.
Yeah, yeah.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he was saying that, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are two spiritual forces in this world, the jiva souls and the holy names of the Lord.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Everything else is lifeless matter.
yeah. And this song is also from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and there's no other friends in this world we really have. The holy name is going as our savior. Those that deliver the holy name to us. He's brought the medicine to wipe out this disease of illusion. And we're thinking that we are enjoying, but we are really suffering. That is our illusion. Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri
Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Before we begin, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has translated this Chaitanya Charitamrita from the original Bengali into English, so it could be distributed around the world, and the glories of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could be known to all, and given us the Bhaktivedanta purport so we can understand the inner meaning of Lord Chaitanya's teachings. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So today we begin a new chapter, chapter 7 of the Madhya Lila. The Lord begins his tour of South India. These chapters begin with a overview, a couple paragraphs. Would somebody like to read the opening paragraph?
Okay. In the Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur summarized the 7th chapter as follows. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life in the months of Magh, January, February, and went to Jagannath Puri in the months of Falgun, February, March. He saw the Dola Yatra festival during the months of Falgun, and in the month of Chaitra, he liberated Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. During the month of
Vaishaka.
he began to tour South India. When he proposed to travel to South India alone, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him a Brahmana assistant named Krishna Das. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was beginning his tour, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave him 4 sets of clothes and requested him to see Ramananda Rai, who was residing at that time on the bank of the river Godavari. Along other devotees, Nityananda Prabhu accompanied the Lord to Alalanath. But there Lord Chaitanya led them all behind and went ahead with the Brahmana Krishna Das. The Lord began chanting the mantra Krishna, 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 Hey. In whatever village he spent the night, whenever a person came to see him in his shelter, the Lord implored him to preach the Krishna consciousness movement. After teaching the people of one village, the Lord proceeded to other villages to increase devotees. In this way, finally reached Kurmastan, where there he bestowed his causeless mercy upon a Brahmana called Kurma and cured another Brahmana named Vasudev, who was suffering from leprosy. After curing this Brahmana leper, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received the title Vasudevamrita Pradha, mean one who delivered nectar to the leper Vasudev.
Jai. Thank you, Meligolo Konanda Priya. Text number 1. This is, would you, Sringa Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
This is a Sanskrit verse,
Okay.
mostly.
Dhannam tam naumi chaitannam Vasudevam dayardradhi Nashto kushtam nashto pushtam Bhakti tushtam chakaraya.
Translation. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being very compassionate toward a Brahmana named Vasudev, cured him of leprosy. He transformed him into a beautiful man, satisfied with devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the glorious Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daitra Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Charya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya.
এই মতে সার্বভৌমের নিস্তার করিল দক্ষিণ গমনে প্রভুর ইচ্ছা উপজিল।
After delivering Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Lord desired to go to South India to preach.
মাঘ শুক্লপক্ষে প্রভু করিল সন্ন্যাস ফাল্গুনে আসিয়া কইল নীলাচলে বাস।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order during the waxing fortnight of the month of Magh. During the following month, Phalguna, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. So I thought this was interesting in the trends in the this time sequence. It gives us a very, just insight in person, just kind of see how close these activities took place. He took the renounced order of life, sannyasi, during the month of Magh, which is, the December, like covers December, January period. And then during the month of Falgun, which is like, I guess, January, February, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. And we see the other.
Please lower a bit.
Oh, no, sorry about that.
ফাল্গুনের শেষে দোলযাত্রা সে দেখিল প্রেমাবেশে তাহা বহু নিত্যগীত কইল।
At the end of the month of Falguna, he witnessed the Dola Yatra ceremony, and in his usual ecstatic love of God, he chanted and danced in various ways on the occasion. This Dola Yatra ceremony, I'd never heard of it before. I don't know, has anybody familiar with it?
I think like Julan Yatra.
Yeah. So that's what it said there. It said Julan Yatra is
Yeah.
they do a Julan Yatra, but it's also like a holy festival.
Yeah.
celebrate Holi. So this is the time of the year, which is also the time of year of Gaur Purnima. So this was right around the Lord's appearance day as well. It wasn't celebrated at that time, but wonderful time of the year. So the kind of the beginning of usually the beginning to mid-March, depending on the year.
Prabhuji, it is festival of color.
Dola Yatra. Yeah, so
Yes.
the Holy Festival. Yeah. Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya stayed there in Jagannath Puri and took part with ecstasy. Text number 6.
চৈত্রেরহি কইল সার্বভৌম বিমোচন, বৈশাখের প্রথমে দক্ষিণে যাইতে হইল মন।
And during the month of Chaitra, while living at Jagannath Puri, the Lord delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And at the beginning of the
April.
next month,
Vaishakha.
Shaka, he decided to go to South India. So all these activities took place in the course of only, a 4-month span of time. Text 7 and 8.
নিজগণ আনে কহে বিনয় করিয়া, আলিঙ্গন করি সবাই শ্রীহস্ত ধরিয়া। তোমার সভা জানি আমি প্রাণাধিক করি, প্রাণ ছাড়া যায় তোমার সেবা নাই ছাড়িতে না পারি।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called all his devotees together and, holding them by the hand, humbly informed them, "You are all more dear to me than my life. I can give up my life, but to give you up is difficult for me." Text 9.
তুমি সব বন্ধু মোর বন্ধুকৃত্য কইলে, ইহা আনি মোরে জগন্নাথ দেখাইলে।
You are all my friends, and you have properly executed the duties of friends by bringing me here to Jagannath Puri and giving me the chance to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. There's a very sweet exchange by the Lord and his devotees. See that this quality is, there also in Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is also Krishna, but in this particular mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of just Bhaktavatsala, indebted to his devotees, for their, service, the loving exchanges, how Krishna considers his devotees to be more dear than his own self.
এবে সবা স্থানে মুই মাঙ্গো এক দানে, সবে মেলি আজ্ঞা দেহ যাইব দক্ষিণে।
I now beg all of you for a bit of charity. Please give me permission to leave for a tour of South India.
বিশ্বরূপ উদ্দেশ্যে অবশ্য আমি যাব, একাকী যাইব, কাহক সঙ্গে নাহি লইব।
I shall go to search out Vishwarup. Please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I do not wish to take anyone with me.
Oh, don't want to take anybody.
So this is, you can imagine the shock that the devotees must be feeling at this point in time.
Yeah.
সুগন্ধ হইতে আমি না আসি যাবত, নীলাচলে তুমি সব রহিবে তাবত।
Until I return from Setubanda, all of you, dear friends, should remain at Jagannath Puri. So this Setubanda, I had to look it up. I was unfamiliar.
Near Kanyakumari, I think.
They said that it's the lower tip of India. It's
Yeah, Kanyakumari.
Yeah, with the bridge, I
The
guess, was
tip of
built
it. Yeah.
by Lord Ram. So it's the furthermost tip, basically. So until I return from South, in other words, it's saying until I finish my tour of South India, um, you know, all of you, dear friends, should remain in Jagannath Puri.
বিশ্বরূপ সিদ্ধিপ্রাপ্তি জানেন সকল, দক্ষিণ দেশ উদ্ধারিতে করেন এই ছল।
This part's interesting. Knowing everything, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was aware that Vishwarup had already passed away. A pretense of ignorance was necessary, however, so that he could go to South India and liberate the people there. It's interesting how they said this, how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is writing this. So this is you can understand this to be kind of a lila between Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. His desire was to go to South India, liberate the people there.
Who is this Vishwarup Prabhu?
That is Lord Chaitanya's brother.
Oh, okay.
Who had left home at an early age, but later was informed that he passed away. But there was, I guess, so he went, I guess, to South India, and he thought he was giving this idea that he has to search for his brother. So who will deny that request, right? You want to look for your lost brother, lost family member. Give me some time. But the people understood that this is, his desire was to go to liberate the people of South India and introduce them to Krishna consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a desire to go alone, which is also kind of the nature of a sannyas.
Yeah.
To practice renunciation as well as complete dependency on the Lord. You've given up, home, you've given up family. Now you're, due to the nature of that order of life, they say they enter into the forest. That could mean multiple things according to the context of time, place, and circumstance. So Lord Chaitanya, exhibiting this mood, wanted to travel alone in order to preach the holy names. Okay, next 14.
শুনিয়া সবার মনে হইল মহা দুঃখ, নিঃশব্দ হইলা সবার শুকাইল মুখ।
Upon hearing this message from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees became very unhappy and remained silent with sullen faces. We can imagine, their reaction, and this is how it is described, just as we would have imagined.
Yeah.
নিত্যানন্দ প্রভু কহে, ওইছে কইছে হয়, একাকী যাইবে তুমি, কে ইহা সহায়?
Nityananda Prabhu then said, "How is it possible for you to go alone? Who can tolerate this?" So
They
he
could talk.
became the spokesperson. All the devotees were standing there stunned. No one knew what to say. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he addressed Lord Chaitanya.
দুই এক সঙ্গে চলুক, না পড়ো হঠ রঙ্গে, যারে কহ সেই দুই চলুক তোমার সঙ্গে।
Let one or two of us go with you. Otherwise, you may fall into the clutches of thieves and rogues along the way. They may be whomever you like, but two persons should go with you. So this is a reasonable request, right?
Yeah.
When people
Yeah.
go somewhere, they always say, go in pairs or go, travel with at least a couple people, just in case, what happens if you get sick? What happens if, you trip and fall? What happens, who are you going to contact? What happens if, like here it says, thieves and rogues, there's people with ill intent, in this world. So at least some protection may be there. You may not go with a whole army, but at least a couple of people.
That too, he was going in the forest also, I think.
Yeah. So that was the proposal of compromise. Let's see how the Lord, how it proceeds.
দক্ষিণের তীর্থপথ আমি সব জানি, আমি সঙ্গে যাই প্রভু, আজ্ঞা দেহ তুমি।
Indeed, I know all the paths to the different places of pilgrimage in South India. Just order me, and I shall go with you. So this is Lord Nityananda, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he knew all the places of pilgrimage, and he knows all the paths. So when he was a young boy, he traveled with a sannyasi, to various pilgrimage places. And I guess we can understand from this him knowing, other than him being the Supreme Lord himself, Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda is all-knowing, but in this particular pastime, we may understand this as that he traveled these holy places in his earlier life with the sannyasi. Text 18.
প্রভু কহে আমি নর্তক, তুমি সূত্রধার, তুমি যেইছে নাচাও তৈছে নর্তন আমার।
The Lord replied, I am simply a dancer, and you are the wire puller. However you pull the wire to make me dance, I shall dance in that way. Lord Caitanya submitting to the desire of his dearmost devotee.
সন্ন্যাস করিয়া আমি চলিলাম বৃন্দাবন, তুমি আজ্ঞা লয়ে আইলে অদ্বৈত ভবন।
After accepting the sannyas order, I decided to go to Vrindavan, but you took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. So Lord Nityananda, this is only a few months before. Lord Chaitanya, he had a desire to go to Vrindavan, see Lord Krishna's birthplace. And Lord Nityananda at that time, he, desiring for the Lord not to leave Mayapur, redirected him and tricked him to go to the house of Advaita Acharya Prabhu. Of course, only this trick can take place by the will of the Lord in order to enhance the loving exchanges between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda.
নীলাচল আসিতে পথে ভাঙিলা মোর দণ্ড, তোমা সবার গাঢ় স্নেহে আমার কার্য ভঙ্গ।
While on the way to Jagannath Puri, you broke my sannyas staff. I know that all of you have great affection for me, but such things disturb my activities.
জগদানন্দ চাহে আমি বিষয় ভুঞ্জাইতে, যেই কহে সেই ভয়ে চাহিয়া করিতে।
Jagadananda wants me to enjoy bodily sense gratification, and out of fear, I do whatever he tells me. Jagadananda Prabhu is, I think he was known as being very kind of strong in his convictions. service. The Lord is giving his reasons why he wants to travel alone. He doesn't want any more drama. He's telling him.
প্রভু যদি ইহার বাক্য করিয়ে অন্যথা ক্রোধে 3 দিন মোর নাহি কহে কথা।
If I sometimes do something against his desire, this is Jagadananda, Prabhu, out of anger, he will not talk to me for 3 days.
মুকুন্দ হয়েন দুঃখী দেখি সন্ন্যাস ধর্ম 3 বারে স্মৃতে স্নান ভূমিতে শয়ন।
Being a sannyasi, I have a duty to lie down on the ground and to take a bath 3 times a day, even during the winter. But Mukunda becomes very unhappy when he sees my severe austerities.
Who is this Mukunda?
No, associate of Lord Caitanya,
Okay,
Mukunda Datta. I don't know if this is a different Mukunda, but we can see this is one of the associates of Lord Caitanya who's staying with him.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Mukunda Datta or not. I don't know if anybody has any insight into that. Text 24.
অন্তরে দুঃখী মুকুন্দ নাহি কহে মুখে ইহার দুঃখ দেখি মোর দ্বিগুণ হয় দুঃখে।
Of course, Mukunda does not say anything, but I know that he is very unhappy within. And upon seeing him unhappy, I become twice as unhappy.
আমি তো সন্ন্যাসী দামোদর ব্রহ্মচারী সদা রহে আমার উপর শিক্ষা দণ্ড ধরি।
Although I am in the renounced order of life, and Damodar is a brahmachari, he still keeps a stick in his hand just to educate me. Text number 26.
ইহার আগে আমি না জানি ব্যবহার ইহারে না ভাই স্বতন্ত্র চরিত্র আমার।
According to Damodar, I'm still a neophyte as far as social etiquette is concerned. Therefore, he does not like my independent nature.
লোকাপেক্ষা নাহি ইহার কৃষ্ণ কৃপা হইতে আমি লোকাপেক্ষা কভু না পারি ছাড়িতে।
Damodar Pandit and others are more advanced in receiving the mercy of Lord Krishna. Therefore, they are independent of public opinion. As such, they want me to enjoy sense gratification, even though it be unethical. But since I am a poor sannyasi, I cannot abandon the duties of the renounced order, and therefore I follow them strictly. Purport. A brahmachari is supposed to assist a sannyasi. Therefore, a brahmachari should not try to instruct a sannyasi. That is the etiquette. Consequently, Damodar should not have advised Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of his duty. Yeah. So this is an important point here. And what we can understand is that Lord Chaitanya is experiencing some social pressure from his associates.
Yeah.
This pressure is out of love, right? It's, they care about him, They don't want to see him do so much austerity, so maybe they want to feed him a certain way. And he's saying, look, I'm a sannyasi, I can't be treated this way.
Yeah.
They say, it doesn't matter, you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it doesn't matter. You should be treated much, differently. We don't want to see you, at least what appears to us to be suffering, eating, in a reduced way, sleeping on the ground, taking cold baths, let us be with you, let us serve you. And, he's saying, I can't take this, everybody's instructing me, giving me, their advice. It's very endearing to me that you're doing this, but I have a duty myself as a sannyasi. But even beyond that, he has come to deliver the people of this world. And he's accepted the role of, he's accepted the renounced order of life in order to fulfill that role, that duty, um, of delivering the holy name and preaching the science of Krishna consciousness. So he has to get away from the situation. He's trying to do it in a very diplomatic way by glorifying the devotees, but also letting them know that he can't be restricted so much. Anybody have any thoughts or reflections of this conversation as we're discussing it?
Brahmachari is supposed to assist but not advising.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Here.
Because the sannyasi really is the one, who's, older, more experienced. So they should actually be instructing and giving direction to the brahmachari.
Yeah.
Right. Brahmacharis are the first order of the ashrams. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa.
Sannyasi is senior than that.
Yeah. So due to the etiquette, so we should also be careful. It should be a reminder to us. I remember one time there was a sannyasi. He was in Philadelphia. He was giving initiation. This was maybe about 6, 7 years ago. And he was giving initiation, and I was sitting close by to him, and he was giving he was giving the talk before the initiation, and he was quoting a verse, and he stopped in the middle of it and paused, and I thought that he'd forgotten um, forgotten the verse. And this happens sometimes. People they start the first line of the shloka and they say, what is that next? Because when you remember shlokas, it's one word that you remember will trigger the memory of the rest of it. But sometimes you just need that one word to remember. So I said it out loud, and he says, "That's not what I was thinking." I was actually thinking something different. So it reminded me that, you have to understand the time, place, and circumstance, public, private. Also, you don't, you just be very careful socially, even though you think you may be doing right or you may be doing good. You should be very careful in how we, especially as somebody, as a sannyasi, somebody who's a senior devotee. There are ways to do it, but we don't want to create a social um, uh, 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 society or the etiquette in the society where you have, everybody becomes simply on an equal level. Yes, we're equal in terms of, Samadarshana, we see with everybody's spirit soul, there's the super soul within everybody's heart. But there are different um, stations in life where you have, juniors, you have seniors. There's an etiquette to that. And the sannyasi is the head of all, of um, the varnas and ashrams at all. At the pinnacle is the sannyasi. So, we should always be aware of these social boundaries and try to serve within them. Inquire with the understanding. If there's some confusion about the activity, it's okay to inquire. as long as that inquiry is not with envy or jealousy, or an attempt to expose or promote oneself.
Yeah, I observed in so many places where there's some younger generation, they are not taught about, I have to respect sannyasi. They will just call the sannyasi by the name, without addressing,
Yeah.
Maharaj or whatever, like some respectful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I know in the beginning we have been trained so many things about etiquette and everything. I've noticed that the newer generation, they're
Yeah,
not
they don't
so much education of the newer generation of devotees. They're not. I think that need to be addressed. I don't know how is they will get this kind of education.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you can address it, individually, in classes like these and other classes, and when somebody comes, teaching them how to, serve, properly, offer obeisances, you know, ask them, about their needs, hear from them, ask relevant questions. But you're in general, I think you're right, and it's just not so much a problem within ISKCON. It's a problem of the world where everybody wants to kind of pull out to be on an equal footing, equal platform. Um, in the workplace, in the social um, societies that are there, there's more and more a, attempt that I've noticed is to basically bring everybody down to everybody is the same, everybody is equal. You know, why does your opinion matter more than my opinion? You know, um, and uh, and a lot of this also has to do with the advancement of technology because knowledge now is so available that one can, look up on the internet, go to ChatGPT, go to, and they can know exactly what what you've learned in knowledge over the last couple, number of years. You can, what a professor can teach you at a university, you can look up on ChatGPT and within a few seconds have the answer and have it explained to you. So there's the minimization often by technology through to receiving um, instructions. So um, we have to be careful, I guess, and we do want to preach, and we don't want this to be like a turnoff to people who are just entering into Krishna consciousness. So sometimes there may be at the beginning stages some leniency in this area so that people aren't deterred from following and pursuing Krishna consciousness. But there is a stage where, especially if a person wants to take to Krishna consciousness seriously, pursue initiation, take shelter, um, that there is the sadachar behavior and etiquettes of a devotee need to be explained and followed. Right. Yeah, good point, Mother Golokananda Priya.
Just wondering, the guru disciples course nowadays, do they teach about etiquette and all this stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, it's there.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's there. There's a lot of these things require reminders because our conditioned nature is such, and then there's we learn something maybe in a course, And maybe that course was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. And if we don't see the example of it taking place daily, then we tend to fall back into our conditioned nature, right? So we need to practice these things. And sometimes you may do an activity, I may do an activity simply for the sake of setting the example. Um, I know, like for instance, like entering into the temple room, um, offering obeisances. One may have done so, several times that day, and you come in, you offer obeisances. You may just come in to get something and then walk out, and you may be doing an activity. But other people seeing you offering obeisances every time you're going in and coming out, going in, coming out, they say, okay, look, this person's offering obeisances all the time. And they go to Srila Prabhupada, offer obeisances. And then they say, okay, this is something serious. Um, just being conscious of this, that, other people are watching your behavior, and, they'll learn from your behavior. Um, uh, and you see a sannyasi or a senior devotee, and you get down, you offer obeisances to them. You're doing it for your own purification. But in addition to that, there may be others around, juniors around. You would do it regardless, but also be aware that other people are around too. And when you do this, they say, okay, this is the way um, one is, one should behave. Um, so, devotees that are initiated, taken to the path of Krishna consciousness, have been following for a number of years, us setting, proper example in terms of sadachar, is important. Because even though they may hear in a course, again, you it goes, sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other. But when we see personal execution of it, then that theory that they've learned in a course uh, becomes practice. You have any more thoughts? Interesting topic. Uh, Madhya Priya, do you have anything more to share?
I think this made is how you teach by your example. I like the point you made.
Yeah.
Like if you yourself don't do it, how can you teach others if if you consider yourself you've been a senior devotee or you've been practicing for long, That's a very good point. That's something I keep on mind.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's very important when to offer respect. In the early days, I remember, even somebody got second initiation, if your first initiation, you should, that was a little bit too much actually. I know in Italy they used to do that. They will have like a whole row of all the second initiated and all row of devotees. They was in serve prasadam first, and the first initiation they were on different rows.
Oh, wow.
That was a little bit too much, but
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes we have to see like what the environment is like.
yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's,
Yeah, that's what I was asking a little bit too much, I think. But they were
yeah.
saying that, oh, you're second initiated, you're like they were claiming themselves superiors and the first initiated devotees.
Yeah. Because that type of thing can also, it may have a place, in a very, small gathering, you know, of a group. Maybe there's some meeting that's called, and there's only, 10, 15 people there, and it's easier to, okay, let the seniors go first, let the, the juniors go last. But if you have something like, say, a Sunday feast or a major festival, um,
You have to be
you know,
practical, yeah.
yeah, you have to be practical, you can't be running, you know, from the front of the temple room to the back of the temple room, then back to the middle of the temple room, then back to the back of the temple room, then back to the front of the temple room, then back to the woman's side, then to the men's side, then to the woman's side, then the men's
Yeah.
side, just to go in the order of passing the ghee lamp around for.
It was that time when
Yeah.
a lot of devotees were staying
Yeah.
in the temples,
Yeah.
like, in the beginning, there was no like devotees. Most of the devotees were full-time devotees,
Yeah.
That's what practice.
Yeah.
But I've been through that a little bit in the past.
I think this is where we have to just apply our intelligence in a very detached way about, what is practical, what is still upholding, you know, elements of respect, and especially on this topic of like not instructing, you have to be very careful, and take guidance, if there would ever be a reason to feel that there's some advice or instruction, there's a way to, to provide it in the mood of service, but not in a way of, instructing and giving unsolicited uh, advice. Sometimes a sannyasi may ask, a question of his assistant, or a senior devotee may ask a question. It's different than kind of informing them that they're acting improperly or doing something or saying something improperly. And again, there's public, there's private, there's ways to address any doubts that may exist in a respectful way. But in this Leela here, going back to this Leela, and we'll conclude with this verse. We'll start with text number 28 next week. We can see that Lord Chaitanya had this desire to go to South India for preaching Krishna consciousness. And he also knew that he had to do it alone. He was willing to take, one or two servants along with him, and which we'll find out that in next week's reading, how this transpires. And, but his goal now is he's externally, he's a sannyasi. He has to leave. He can't be, kind of pampered in this way that the devotees wanted to serve him. But he also had, he was on a mission, and that was to travel to South India and preach Krishna consciousness. Thank you all for tuning in today, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll return to Srimad Bhagavatam. Today is the last day of the holy month of Kartik, and the marriage of Tulsi and Shalagram. It's a wonderful day, as every day is, to engage in the process of Krishna consciousness. Let us absorb the mercy, the divine grace of Lord Krishna in this holy day. I wish you all a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvyeva cha patitanam pavanevyo vaishnavevyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Jai,
Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki.
Jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.